Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the Orthocell Limited webinar this morning. My name is Hayley Charters, and I'm very pleased to host today's session. I think we still have a few people entering, so we'll just give them a couple of minutes. To those who have just joined, once again, my name is Hayley Charters, and I'm pleased to host today's session. Shortly, Orthocell Chairman John van der Wielen and CEO and MD Paul Anderson will provide an update from the company at a truly exciting stage of its clinical and commercial development. We'll host a short Q&A towards the end of the session. You're welcome to submit your questions via the written Q&A facility at the bottom of your screen, and we'll endeavour to get to as many as possible. If you have a question after the session, please also email general@orthocell.com. I'm now pleased to welcome John and Paul to share this important and exciting update.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Hayley. My name's John van der Wielen, and I'm the chairman of Orthocell, and I have to say I'm particularly pleased today to be opening today's webinar with such a major announcement. And I'll hit with that up front. Of course, the announcement is the news that we've received clearance by the FDA to market our world-leading nerve product into what is the world's largest health market. And I want to start with the fact that Orthocell is genuinely a unique biotech company that's extremely well positioned. And whilst you may hear that in other companies, let me take you through a couple of those points of why I say it's so different. We would be one of the few companies that has no ongoing royalty stream, which are often really draining on cash and profits of some of the newer biotechs in the market. So we acquired the royalty stream from the UWA several years ago. We've got a very strong board. We now have access into the US market. And pleasingly, this is the 11th international approval that we've achieved over the last few years. Now that we access this large market, and I think one of the hallmarks of the performance of Paul Anderson as Managing Director and the executive team, combined with the board, is that we've undertaken to be a company that does what it says. And we've always told the market where we're heading, what we're doing, and when we'll do it. And I think today's FDA clearance is a great example of that. A small Perth biotech has achieved FDA clearance during USA turmoil, with many people betting against us, thinking, how will you achieve this with the current Trump dilemmas? We said we'd do it by the end of March or the first week of April, and that's exactly what's happened. We've said we'll be well set up in the US and achieve early sales. And we've said we'll continue to grow the revenue on an ongoing basis, and that's exactly what we'll do. So I think with that, I would like to hand over to the founder of the company, the person that has executed so well as the managing director of the company. And I look forward to Paul highlighting all those exciting moves that we've got going forward, and then we'll take some questions. But I do want to finish on the point that as a chair of the board, the most important thing we can do for investors is continue to build trust. We'll continue to tell you what we're doing, when we're doing it, and we'll make sure we deliver on those promises. So, which you can see from the FDA approval today, which we're all looking forward to celebrating this evening. So, Paul, with that, I'll hand over for you to take us through the rest of the presentation. And thank you to all the investors who've stood by the company in the last few years. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us today's webinar. Really, this is a defining moment for our company and really puts us in rarefied air, having just received clearance to market our flagship product, Remplir, into the US marketplace. And what that means to us as a company is that this is really a major revenue inflection point. It provides a catalyst to drive the company towards our break-even and profitability in the foreseeable future. And it's really important to note also that we have scaled our manufacturing facility in preparation for this moment. We now have capacity in our medical device space to produce over 100,000 units of this product as we move through into the US. So it puts us in a significantly strong position with inventory in place and material capital costs associated with this production ramp up already having occurred. It's great to have a clearance. It's great to have a revenue inflection point. It's awesome to have a scaled manufacturing facility. But if you don't have your logistics in place, then it's very difficult to sell the product. And I'm delighted to inform all that we have the logistics in place in the US, which is essential coordination and warehousing, in order for us to deliver effectively and consistently this product into the US marketplace. We have a proven sales model. We have a product that's been approved in the Australian marketplace, that's reimbursed in the Australian marketplace. And we now, as a result of those wonderful experiences, now able to forge a pathway into the US market. We now have internal sales, internal marketing and medical education team in place in the US that bring significant domain knowledge with them, enabling us to attract a fantastic distributor network which is ready to roll out. And importantly, we have a strong balance sheet with over $32 million of cash in the bank, enabling us to effectively engage with this US rollout of this really unique product. Just a reminder, Remplir is redefining the nerve repair space. This is the only product in the world today that is designed to mimic the outside edge of the nerve called the epineurium. It enables surgeons to heal nerves by reducing or negating the need for sutures altogether. It has exceptional handling qualities. It mimics the epineurial tissue, and I can't emphasize how important that is. It reduces the need for the multiple sutures or reduces the need at all for sutures, and importantly returns the nerve to its pre-injured state. So this product guides predictable and consistent outcomes in peripheral nerve repair, again, which is what we don't see with sutures or any of the other collagen products that are in the marketplace today. So what initially got us so excited about this product was the clinical data. And we now know that we're taking patients with paralyzed limbs and enabling them to regain function, up to 76% at month 12 and 24% showing an 85% success rate of returning nerves to functional recovery, which is an outstanding outcome. And when you have surgeons of the quality of Dr. Alex O'Byrne saying that we're seeing consistent return of arm and hand function following surgery using Remplir, then that gives us enormous confidence in combination with our strong scientific narrative, our strong clinical data to really drive into the US marketplace. As I mentioned, we're approved and reimbursed here in this country. And in the last 18 months to 2 years, we've been able to recruit over 180 surgeons and 150 hospitals to use and to supply a Remplir to surgeons. And this is an outstanding result from a product introduction perspective, and again leaves us ideally placed as we drive into the US marketplace. We know this product, we know the narrative, and we know the surgeons that we have to attract to be successful in the US, and we're already well on the way to doing that. Important to note, we're connecting nerves together, we're protecting nerves, and we're capping nerves. So this is a wonderful trifecta of indications in this product, which is also unique in this space. What we do know is that the majority of nerves that are repaired globally are repaired using a needle and a thread. What we now understand and is widely accepted is that that's not such a good idea. Sutures cause damage to the nerve, it impedes the axonal growth, and it really leads to optional regeneration and a return of function and sensation. So, we've been doing nerve repair with sutures since about 1869 was the first time it was reported. And predominantly, surgeons are still doing the same thing today. It is widely accepted that we can do better, and is now becoming widely accepted that a product like Remplir has the ability to change clinical practice in more than one way. We know that there are some other devices in the marketplace, and we know that they have forged a pathway for us, but what we've seen is that they're fundamentally not really fit for purpose. They're what we would describe as Generation 1 technologies compared with our later Generation 3 technology in Remplir. But we also know that still the majority of these nerve repairs are done using sutures. And so these other competitive companies haven't really been able to forge a pathway above the 10% market share. So this is an incredible opportunity for us. And if we can produce, and as we are producing consistent and predictable outcomes, this has proven to be very attractive to surgeons in their use and repair of damaged nerves. As mentioned at the top, we're ready to fill sales orders from day one. We have our manufacturing in place with existing manufacturing here in Australia, which is an outstanding effort on our behalf. We have logistics and shipping in place, which is super important in the US. It's a big place. You need to be well organised. You need to be well representative. You need to have customer service and warehousing to fulfil orders that come rolling in. And most importantly, you need to also have a well-experienced internal sales and med-ed team combined with a strong distributor network to roll these products out into the US. And I'm delighted with our manufacturing. I'm absolutely happy with our logistics and shipping, and I can't be any stronger about how skilled and the domain knowledge that our US team brings to the game is really exciting. From a manufacturing and product supply perspective, the last thing you want to do is to be in a position of getting this, fantastic outcome of an FDA approval and not be able to supply. So we've worked ahead of this announcement. We've been ahead of the game here, and we now have an annual medical device production capacity of over 100,000 units, with no near-term requirement for us to increase our production capacity, having already provided to the Australian, New Zealand, and Singaporean markets. And so we're well underway for a production ramp-up anticipated on the back of this US FDA approval, and with plenty of raw material sourced from backup suppliers. So an ideal position for us. We took some risks. We took some risks by getting ahead of the game, getting ahead of this 510K clearance and approval process, and that risk is now paying off for us. As mentioned with the logistics, this is a really unique product as well. This is no temperature control required. We have a 3-year expiry date for this product, which is quite rare and very important for a manufacturer in Australia producing and supplying to the US. That 3-year expiry date is really important. So we've got US logistics in place, and orders that can be received and shipped on the same day to provide an outstanding customer service base through our representative Uniphar in the US. As I mentioned, we've now put 3 key employment heads in place, John Walker, Philip Edmondson, and Kevin Leach. These guys all bring with them in excess of 8 years experience in the nerve space, having worked for some of our competitors, and they bring incredible domain knowledge. They bring knowledge about the hospital system. They bring knowledge about key opinion leaders, and they bring knowledge about how to market those unique experiences that we have. And so these experienced US executives are helping us drive the market launch and the sales of Remplir in the US, which is a really important piece. We then have a really strong hybrid model. It's not our goal to have hundreds of representatives in the field. We're going to use the distributor networks that sit within the US. And even some of the biggest companies in the world use this hybrid model. And so we have at the top our East Coast Sales Director and West Coast Sales Director. We have 4 territory managers that we're in the process of appointing. And we already have 12 distributors on target, ready to go. So we are in a fantastic position with great domain knowledge, experience in the US, a wonderful product, and a fantastic scientific narrative that is supporting our pre-launch and our launch activities. Just last week, I was in Washington, D.C. at one of the world's largest, one of the US's largest soft tissue hand congress. And we were able to successfully show surgeons how to use our product. We had incredible traffic from surgeons to our booth, from distributors to our booth, and even competitors trying to check out what we're doing. So we couldn't have been more delighted with the fact that we made a real impact. And there wasn't one single person at that conference that didn't recognize that Remplir is redefining nerve repair, and that product Remplir is being provided by a unique Australian company called Orthocell. And so, a job well done to the team on an outstanding triennial congress in the Washington, D.C., which provided us with an outstanding pre-launch activities. So in conclusion, we are a commercial stage medical device company at a revenue inflection point with a flagship product, Remplir, which is unique and provides surgeons with consistent and predictable nerve repair. We understand now, not because we tell ourselves, but because we've validated this internationally, that we have the best-in-class products in nerve, bone, and tendon repair, which is now approved in 10 international jurisdictions, which is an incredible achievement for this company over the course of the journey. We have an incredible board, really strengthened to provide us with the skill sets for the next phase of the company. And so I'm delighted to have the backing of the chairman and Professor Fiona Wood, Dr. Ravi Tatani, and the Honourable Kim Beasley. Importantly, we have $32 million of cash in the bank with the strengthened share registry, which provides us with all the impetus that we require into this exciting US market. And we have a product that is manufactured locally, so we own the production margins, which is a really important piece. And not only do we own those margins, we also own the knowledge. So a great company, fantastic opportunity for us. I'm so delighted and proud of Orthocell having achieved the FDA clearance and approval to market our product, Remplir, which is redefining nerve repair into the United States market. And on that, I'll say thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paul. And that was a fabulous summary of this remarkable achievement for Australia's innovation sector. I'm sure we all agree. We'll now move to the Q&A portion of the webinar. Again, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. To get us started, Paul, how quickly will you generate first revenues?
Look, we don't want to specifically talk about a time frame necessarily, but what we do know is that we're well prepared and ready to deliver from day one. We've engaged with key opinion leaders. We have hospitals that we've collaborated with. We have on-ground logistics, as I mentioned. The inventory is in place. Our pre-launch activities have been completed. We've been able to recruit numbers of surgeons into this exciting product that we have. So we're ready to hit the ground running and feeling really confident that we can get first sales very shortly after this submission, after this approval that we've received.
Fantastic. Next question. What is the effect of the new US tariff regime? A big one for today, John.
Yeah, great. Everyone loves a good tariff. Everyone loves this question at the moment. But let me start with the first point, that our product is not what you'd consider a price-sensitive product, right? So tariffs or otherwise, this is a life-changing medical device that's not price-sensitive. Then secondly, what you've seen is the announcement out of the US that pharmaceuticals are not tariffed, but anything in Australia is only being tariffed at 10%. And just to coin that phrase, you don't have to be faster than the bear, you've got to be faster than the bloke next to you. Australia's actually just become one of the lowest cost tariff countries in the world compared to the tariffs anywhere else. So we don't expect it to have any negative impact on Orthocell. What we also know is the US market highly respects Australia's manufacture. Our products are porcine base, and we have full traceability of all animals that the product comes from. So the US love our clinical acuity. They like what we do. We're an aligned country, and at this stage, we're thinking we're not subject to tariffs. So I'd call it a pretty positive outlook on that basis.
Fantastic. And there's quite a few questions coming in around that one. What happens to your cost base in the US? How many staff will be needed, Paul?
Yeah, so we've adopted a hybrid model. To have a direct sales force in the US is really expensive and not necessarily the most efficient use of your resources. So, we've been put into place a senior management into the US. We're putting into place product managers and managers that manage the distribution partners. But overwhelmingly, this hybrid model is a cost-effective model. It means that we have control over the delivery of the product. It means that we maintain the excellence of the delivery of the product, but we use distributors who have intimate relationships with the hospitals and intimate relationships with the surgeons. And so for us, this is a really sound and appropriate way forward that's going to drive this product into the market in a very cost-effective way.
The question just here, perhaps, John, you can answer this one. What's the sales price and margin for Remplir?
Well, I won't be too specific on the exact sales price. What I will confirm is that we're getting in US dollars the same price we get in Australian dollars, and currently the US dollar is circa 50% more. So the US market in that sense has got a significantly higher margin than what we currently achieve in Australia, and that's already high. I think the other thing to note is that's why I was opening up. The uniqueness I see about Orthocell is this point that we own the manufacturing margin. So we source the product, we manufacture the product, and they're direct employees, and we own the patent. So we've got the manufacturing margin, we've got a high margin in the product already. We get the benefit of US dollars and incredible strength there. And so the margins are very, very high. And, I'll finish on the point that it doesn't take too many sales in the US to start to bring this company, towards the inflection point of cash flow positive.
There's a couple of questions, John, just on that theme around profitability. When do you expect that to occur?
I mean, it's a difficult question, and I want to make sure I don't obfuscate. The point becomes that because we own the manufacturer, we know what the margins are, then in fact, we should move towards cash flow positive in the foreseeable future or relatively quickly. That will depend on the sales volumes. And one of the things the board is very conscious of is the effective management of cash, conserving cash, but not conserving it for the sake of affecting sales volumes. So what we need to do over the next 6 months is work out how fast can we grow, how fast do we wish to grow, and what impact will that have on the profitability. But what I do know is with the margins we have, this company will be cash flow positive in well under 2 years.
Just sort of circling back a little bit, Paul, perhaps you can address this one. Is this product fully ready? Is more research or clinical trials required?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Look, we know that the product is approved in Australia, reimbursed in Australia. It's approved in Singapore and New Zealand. So we know that in the rollout of this product into the Australian marketplace in 2 short years, just under 2 years, we've been able to attract over 180 surgeons to use and reuse our product in over 130 hospitals. From the platform itself, we've treated over 70,000 patients internationally. And so we know that this product is very safe. We know that it's efficacious. And so we know that we're ready to roll this out. It's market ready. We will continue to collect clinical data. We will continue to grow the body of evidence behind this product, but this product is ready, market ready. It's ready to put into the hands of surgeons, and we've road tested here in Australia, ready to execute in the US. And the scientific narrative that we've developed over the last 10 years, I cannot underestimate the power and strength of that. This is a strong product with a strong narrative and is market ready.
And just probably to conclude, what reaction do you expect from existing competitors in the US market?
A bit of fear. Let's be clear. In our pre-launch activities, we had competitors sniffing around and trying to find out what we're doing and how we're doing it. But importantly, we know that the competitors have only had a 10% market penetration. We know that that's because they've got old technology. It's generation 1. It's been around for 15 to 20 years. And so we're a Gen 3 technology. We're far advanced. We're unique in our applications. We're the only product that can claim that we replace the epidural tissue, the outside edge of the nerve. So we know that our performance relative to existing devices is superior. We know that we've got fantastic pricing strategy that enables us to access the markets. We know that we've got incredible margins, which enable us to have a fantastic business model and give us flexibility. And we also understand that that we're the new kid on the block, and there's an incredible amount of interest and excitement about what we do. So whilst we have competitors, the majority of nerve repairs are still done with a needle and thread. So that represents over 700,000 nerve repairs done in the US per year. That represents an incredible opportunity for this company and for investors.
Wonderful, Paul. Thank you, John and Paul. You've got a busy morning, a busy day ahead, so we won't keep you. To our attendees, if you have any further questions, just please do email general@orthocell.com. I'm conscious we didn't get through them all today. Thank you also to our valued shareholders and supporters who dialed in and coming on the journey. We're really excited, and I think we all have a lot to celebrate. That now concludes today's webinar. Thank you all for your continued support.
My pleasure. Thanks for your support. Thank you.